Roland, how it's going, man? I haven't had a chance to talk to you in real time and got your note though. Thank you.
So you see, it's coming.
It's coming. I understand.
Still a lot of work.
Okay, so it looks like all of that worked. So everybody out there in YouTube land, hey, thanks for joining us. We're just, and appreciate you hanging tight there. We're just getting a couple little technical issues ironed out here, and we will get kicked off in just a second. All right. So welcome everybody to this is now the third episode of the DLT Sandwich. I'm joined by the HBAR Bull. We've got a couple of HBAR founder members here as well. And hopefully we'll be able to get Andrew Antar in here. I'm going to shoot him a message here in a minute if I don't hear from him, but I imagine we should hear from him here in just a bit. But yeah, so my name is Jeremy Fletcher. I am the CEO and co-founder of a little software company called Ledgerama, and we created the wallet Wallawallet. And we've been bringing you the DLT Sandwich for a couple of weeks here. We do a little bit of everything on the DLT Sandwich, a little bit of market news, a little bit of HBAR news. And then we like to pop in for a little bit of choose your own adventure topics, just kind of anything of interest, and, plenty of space for guests. And of course, as you can see, we are HBAR folks. We're definitely, all of us are longtime Hedera community members, but we respect all of the cryptocurrency space out there. And we know there's a lot of bright-minded, intelligent people working out there. And a lot of us are all working towards similar goals. So we appreciate all of the DLT community.
How's everybody? We know Hedera's best. Come on.
Well, yes, we do. It's the most performant and the most cost effective, and we love the governance model, most certainly. But I do like to extend that hand of friendship out to the other communities, because we're all working hard, and like I said, a lot of us are working towards similar goals. So hopefully the folks that are out there on other platforms will take a look at Hedera and see it for what it really is as being performant and cost effective. So hope everybody's had a great week. Brandon, another full week for you. How things going in your world?
Oh, last week was fun. So we got an interview out with Hamilton's Reserve last Monday, and then Wednesday we did an update with Stater again, pretty much calling all builders to use HBARX, and then Thursday we did an interview with Privacy Check, and I don't know if you guys have dealt with Roy, but he is a superstar, and he just got some support from the HBAR Foundation, so that was a lot of fun with their it's called Consentive is the use case that they're building, and it's all around privacy and things along those lines. But yeah, it was a fun week last week. And then of course we had the weekend update where I focused on the interview Mance had with Bank of America, and then just general news wrap up for the week. So yeah, it was a packed week, like you said.
Yeah. Talking with Bank of America. I mean, once again, we start to see the breadcrumbs of the inevitable success and the days where HBAR eats the world. It's just more and more evidence coming out all the time. So over to Market Mondays. We do this so DLT Sandwich being what it is, Sandwich has got a bunch of different layers. So we like to start off with a little bit of market news. Not the best week that we've had in the past year or so, but so overall total market cap, and I did look at the numbers. I promised that I would get up-to-date numbers instead of using the numbers from Sunday this week. So hopefully these are a little bit more accurate. Actually, well, I'll go ahead and give it, but maybe in the future, Brandon, I might ask you to do this, because your market knowledge is certainly is a lot more astute than mine. So, but at any rate, so it looks like total market cap down 5%. Bitcoin really not doing a whole lot of, a lot of motion, but from week to week, not a whole lot of change, less than 1% down. The big news kind of for this week for us in the HBAR world, HBAR down looked like 21% on the 7-day. So a rough week for HBAR. But, as we've talked about in the past, while there's, what they say, while there's blood on the floor, it's time to buy. So any comments, Brandon, about the markets this week?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, this isn't investment advice, right? We're just some guys chatting. We're giving our own opinions.
That's right.
Not investment advice. Yeah. So the overall crypto market has been fairly flat. HBAR has been struggling. And that's one of the things that, I talked about in the weekend update is Hedera's much different from other platforms. They are focusing on building right now, and that does take capital, and they are using HBAR to raise that capital. So there's going to be pressure on the market, but it's still a hard capped cryptocurrency with 50 billion HBAR total. Eventually, they're going to hit that hard cap regardless. And you think about it from the perspective of Manson Lehman, I think they're guys of really high integrity. And does it make more sense to hype and drive the price up with tokenomics, or hyping in the media, or using market makers and things like that, and really overshoot where we are in the development of the network? Or does it make sense to not play all those games, keep the market cap in line with where the platform is at the time, and just ride that wave up? We had a pretty high profile platform that went down for 7 hours, and I think, I'm not going to say who they are, but they use a lot of those techniques to hype the price and things like that. And, people might get frustrated. People that had been invested before might get frustrated with the price going down, things like that. But there's two sides to every trade, right? Somebody's buying for everybody that's selling. So, looking forward, let's just continue to get the network to add real value, and that will add value to the underlying cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, for those of us that are in it for the long, and even the short-term traders, but especially those that are in it for the long haul. As an investment, you're going to see these ups and downs. But when you're looking for but when you're in it for the long game, you can kind of take these ups and downs on the chin. And as a technologist, we just keep moving forward. Basically, I have a tendency to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. And the people that I surround myself with are still looking at HBAR and Hedera technology and seeing the best thing out there. So this is where I stay.
Usually when you're the most bummed out is when there's the greatest opportunity, right? So that's right. One of the ways I think about it.
Right. Yeah. So look at it as opportunity for sure. Okay. So a little bit of HBAR news. So it looks like season two. I can't believe it's only season 2. They must be really long seasons. This gossip about gossip, because if this is season 2, the first season was like 127 episodes or something like that. I don't know how. So I'm not sure exactly how they're classifying season 1, season 2 of gossip about gossip. But the ever charming Zenobia Gottschalk is hosting the Gossip About Gossip podcast, and so we're happy to see that continue. That's a long-standing tradition. I know Roland was one of the very first Gossip About Gossip podcasts that I ever heard. That was very early on. And then if you want to catch up on some of the history of Wallawallet, and you want to catch up on some Wallawallet stuff from back in the day, you can go to episode 73 of Gossip About Gossip, Securing HBAR. And that's where we had a nice extensive interview. That was back when Cooper Coons was still with Hedera Hashgraph. And I was joined, of course, by my business partner, Rob Keynes. And we were also joined by Jesse Whiteside, who's now over at Hashport. So great episode 73. If anybody want to hop out and check that one out and get a little bit of the scoop on some old Wallawallet days. Episode 73 of Gossip About Gossip podcast. And then really, to me, big news in the HBAR space, going back to the privacy thing, we see a big push in the privacy space, which really speaks to my heart. Now, I know for folks that, folks that have seen me and, are familiar with some of the stuff that I've done in the past, some of the meetups that I've hosted, people know my name, people know who I am. I'm fairly well doxed myself. Hopefully not too bad, but anyway, people know who I am. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a privacy nerd, right? So I put myself out there in the beginning of this, this whole space, because I said, hey, if people are going to trust Wallawallet, if people are going to trust our name, they're probably going to want to know who I am and maybe a little bit about my background and those kinds of things. So I just went ahead and put myself out there. But I am definitely a privacy nerd. It's something that I think is hugely important to humanity. So my wife is one of those people that she's like, I don't care about privacy. I don't care if Google knows what I do. I don't care if these people know what I do. It's, I'm just an open book. And I always kind of tease her and I say, well, she's a singer. And I said, would you practice your singing out in public? Well, no. And there's other things that, there's plenty of things. If you think about, our daily lives as human beings and think about all our activities, right? There are a number of things that I guarantee that you would prefer those things stay in private. That's just how human beings are, right? We have these moments that are private. And the reason for that is there's a number of reasons for that as I see it, but primarily is it makes us, when our privacy is when, we want privacy in these moments where we're most vulnerable, right? And people could possibly take advantage of those moments, right? So if I'm a singer and I'm practicing a song, I may not want people listening in on it because they might criticize me, or I'm not ready yet. It might have some kind of negative effect. Same thing with, with intellectual property. People have privacy rights over their intellectual property because, they don't want other people taking advantage of it. There's just all kinds of reasons that that privacy is really important. And so it's awesome to see the HBAR Foundation take on this privacy fund. I was really excited to see that. As far as I know, it's the latest fund to come out of the foundation. Is that correct, Brandon?
Yeah, that's right. And again, in the weekend update, I had an interview with Jessica Ravone, who's over the privacy fund. So you can check that out. But yeah, it's the latest one to come out, the latest of the 4.
Right. And it looks like, and so, keep me straight here if I've got any, I don't want to be giving out any misinformation, but it looks like Jim Nasser from the ACOR is going to be spearheading the fund. Is that right?
Yeah, so they have they brought in like an outside counselor or somebody else to run it, and that's Jim Nasser with ACOR, and he's just generally been great. But they're smart. The HBAR Foundation knows that he has the skills in that space to be able to properly evaluate the grantees and make sure that he's using the HBAR that's allotted to him in the best way possible.
Awesome. So I've had an ongoing friendly relationship with Jim Nasser since the early days. Back at Hedera 18, when he was doing basically the company they were doing was supply chain for pharmaceuticals. But then shortly after that, he jumped ship from, I'm forgetting the name of that company off the top of my head, but then he quickly jumped into ACOR, which is a product, Hashlog and Hashload. Basically, these products that are giving patients the ability to access their personal information, really. And research institutions, doctors, patients being able to access their medical records anytime, anywhere, and be able to share information about their medical past without sharing personally identifiable information. I mean, these are use cases that speak directly, that definitely speak directly to me. It's a use case that we actually pitched in the Hedera 18 hackathon. So I've been paying close attention to what Jim Nasser and ACOR have been doing. So I don't think that they couldn't pick a brighter person to take on the privacy fund. So really happy to see that. Gives me great hopes for the future of the privacy fund out of the HBAR Foundation for sure. Just a little bit of quote. It says the HBAR Foundation and ACOR additionally announced a collaboration focused on the rapidly expanding Hedera ecosystem at the intersection of distributed ledger technology and privacy preserving technologies, with the support from the Privacy Market Development Fund from the foundation. So super awesome to see that. Zero knowledge. I don't know where there's a bunch of different directions this could go. Looks like, and there's a couple of names out there. Brandon, again, good job on bringing these to light, but looks like Privacy Check with the consentive use case. And then also something I mentioned a few weeks back, the privacy.coop. Both of these organizations getting help from the foundation and doing awesome things to help people protect their privacy and even get a little bit of cha-ching for perhaps sharing their privacy information or for viewing web ads, those kinds of things, when we are willing to open up the book a little bit and let ad companies and things know what it is that we're doing, similar to the model that you see behind the Brave browser and the Brave attention token. So some incentivized models there. Dividends paying back to share your information. So much of it's being shared and being viewed already. I really love the direction that I see people going, starting to be more and more aware of the privacy issues and taking a little bit more direct control of their digital lives and their digital profiles. So, yeah.
Oh, so, Tony has a question there.
Please, Tony, hop in.
Yeah, definitely. Privacy for me, as you guys know, we all kind of met briefly in 2017 and 18 around the launch of Hedera. And I was always, privacy has always been super important. And it's really kind of, for me, it's ground zero of Web3, where we're all going. And I found a really wonderful Ether project that we're incorporating to our Hedera DApp for privacy and for sovereign identity, and that's Bright ID. We're actually going to fork their mobile client and roll in a number of services for a project that we're working on. But I just want to, point out that there's so many great projects, like Brandon and also you, Jeremy, brought up at the beginning of the call of the podcast. We're super friendly to other crypto. There's a lot of great stories and a lot of great applications out there. We're talking to the authors of this platform and also a DAO platform to migrate to Hedera as an additional chain. And I know that for Aragon DAO platform, I met them in a hackathon, and it's on their roadmap to migrate to Hedera as an additional chain. And there's some other DAO platforms that I found out since we were talking, Jeremy. Right here, homegrown from Hedera, Cooper, and then Nate's project is also really cool DAO platform. But Hedera is just a really super rich environment to make those applications and those great ideas really sing, because of the performant nature of it. But privacy for me, and my point is, I think it's ground zero of Web3. If every participant isn't in total control of their own graph and who has access to that data for how long, and when, then it's not really Web3. Right. So I'm kind of a purist in that sense. So privacy is super huge.
Right. Yeah. And when people look at it now, there's definitely, we've got a long way to go in the DLT space, a lot of work to do in the privacy, arena. People being able to see account numbers and see the funds that are flowing. There's definitely some issues that we want to clear up, but we know that in this space, right? We know that there's tons of work to be done. So that's one of the, and you mentioned this kind of ground zero, and that ground zero is fertile ground. When you look around us, it's just the amount of users that are starting to get interest in the space and the amount of technologists that are coming into the space is far outpacing what, it's just a huge blue ocean, right? So the amount of work that there is to do is, there's still a ton of it to be done, but that's an opportunity for people that want to get into the space.
Brandon, how big is that privacy fund? Brandon, tell us more.
You know what? I haven't actually seen a number for it. All the other ones have a number attached to it, but I haven't seen a number for that one. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that one. But you think about privacy for people that really understand, like you. It's exciting. It's something that's really foundational. But for a lot of other people in the space, they may not, get excited about privacy fund. But talking to Privacy Check about Consentive, it gets real exciting when they start talking about thousands of transactions per second, especially for Hedera. And the way they're structuring things is just really exciting. They get a couple tier 1 ad networks on there, and they're doing those few thousand transactions per second. And just like what Jeremy was saying, the whole point is people give consent to be able to become the product, right? To become the product for the ads, and they get rewarded for that. They get a cut for being that product. And really neat stuff. They're going to have, they're going to allow the advertiser to choose what asset they reward people with. So if it's an airline or something like that, they might use airline miles. If it's Wallawallet, they might use HBAR or Jam Token or something along those lines. But yeah, just really fascinating stuff. I hope they're successful with it.
All right, so it looks like we will not be joined by Andrew Antar today. I got a message from him saying that he got caught up in something else and he's going to have to join us. So we're going to reach out to him and hopefully he'll be able to join us next week. I'm sure we're all busy folks out there, so I'm sure he's caught up with something important. But he'll join us sooner than later. And hopefully we'll in the near future, not too distant future, we'll be able to get Jim Nasser on here as well. Look forward to having him come on, and I'm sure he's usually a good sport and makes time for us. And, I'm sure he'll have plenty of good stuff to share about the privacy fund as well, as he kind of digs in. So just a couple words about Tune.fm. So I went back to what was this? I believe in mid to late January, Brandon had a video with Tune.fm. And so and some of the key points there, an NFT marketplace. The stuff that he's doing with music NFTs sounds really exciting. The non-exclusive hybrid license he's talking about, the lossless music files. The Jam Fest. He's got a ton of really cool stuff. I was hoping to get an update on where they're at and what's new with Tune.fm and what's up and coming. But artists getting 90%. 90% of the transaction going to the artist that created the piece in the first place. That's really turning the music industry up on its head. So speaking of turning industries over on their heads, Glenn, from Inara, where the when the page turns, the author earns. Another huge proponent of the micropayment space. How you doing, Glenn?
Super good, super good. Thanks. It's really great to be here with in DLT. Thanks, thanks, Jeremy. Yeah. For those who aren't familiar with Inara, exactly right. When the page turns, the author earns, and that's how we deliver to the value to the authors. The readers only pay for what they read, one page at a time. And you mentioned that keyword micropayments. I wanted to let you and everyone out there and alert them to a new Forbes article, which just appeared on Saturday. It's titled "New Ledgers, New Business Models, and New Opportunities in Micropayments" by David G.W. Birch, who's a contributor. He's an author and an advisor and global commentator on digital financial services. But he's been following the micropayments space for at least a year. In fact, he wrote an article last year in Forbes, which came to my attention, where he was predicting the rise of micropayments. And though at that point, some solutions had not risen to up on his radar screen. So recently, he got a hold of the team over at Drop, which, if you're familiar with Drop, they're a payment solution provider that is tightly integrated into the Hedera ecosystem. Their parent company, OpenCrowd, has the Navigator.
Also, yeah,
Dragon Glass.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Parent company of also the creators of Dragon Glass. That's probably the best known application in the Hedera space. But yeah. OpenCrowd and Hedera. I mean, they've been very closely tied since the beginning. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So they got a hold of Sean Trainer and his team over at Drop, and so he in the article he talks about how a low cost, low overhead alternative to the existing payment infrastructure could be used to send small amounts instantly and without credit risk. And so he was saying, surely there's got to be a third pay-as-you-go option, other than the two current obvious solutions that we all been using for years. And he talks about the fact that some second layer solutions have been around for a little while, but they've got their issues and their problems. And then he moves on to talking about a new shared ledger approach, which doesn't have all these problems. And so the article moves on to talking about Drop and their micropayment platform, which is essentially built to offer pay-per-use or usage-based pricing to the digital market.
And so, how is Inara using Drop? What as we're always talking about, what problems are you solving, Glenn? What problem does Drop solve for you guys?
Right. And in the article, he does go on to mention a few of Drop's merchants, including Inara, Inara.world. And so essentially what Drop does is enables us to pay the authors directly for every page stream of their ebooks. And the big problem we solve for readers, of course, is for them to discover ebooks by paying for one page at a time. So so what we do is we have the Drop digital wallet tightly integrated into the Inara service. And so when you sign up for a Inara account, you get a Drop digital wallet, and that enables you to be able to stream publications and make those micropayments as you go.
So quick question, Glenn, you mentioned that the two ways that we're doing lower value transactions currently, and that's either bundling them with a subscription service or that's using an ad-based monetization scheme. Are those the two that you're referring to?
Yeah, you've got the pay before services where you load money into some sort of wallet and you can make these no risk payments to content creators and pay later services. I mean, but the disadvantage there is that you've got to accumulate these micro payments to a threshold amount, and then then they get distributed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's been sort of problematic. And the other thing is, you can't charge 10 cents to a credit card.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible.
Yeah, because it's our 3 to 7 cents average is taken off the top, and then the 1.7% or whatever it is. It's that 3 to 7 cents that they automatically take off the top that makes a 10-cent payment impossible. Yeah. This stuff is only possible with DLT, micropayments, true frontier use case. It has me really excited, and it's only possible only possible on Hedera. It's along those lines. There's very few DLTs that can do what we do.
It's very exciting to be able to do this. When Inara can make a micropayment transaction of a penny or less, and we still make money. I mean, that just opens up tremendous numbers of use cases that we're still exploring. Frankly, there's a lot we don't know at this point, and we're coming from the world of publishing, and our network of independent authors in particular. But the world of publishing is broad and deep, and so it's still an experiment in many ways.
Yeah. Well, one of the very few first proof of concepts that Hedera did was exactly what you guys do is for articles and things like that. It was the daily timestamp, right? Yes. It came out, and we knew it was possible from day one. And it just takes a while for the actual enterprise use cases and all that kind of stuff actually to come to fruition. But they're coming. We knew it's been possible for years.
And even for what fascinated me is even for kind of outsiders, like when I was watching that interview with Roy that you did, Brandon, he was going through a list of the DLTs or technologies out there that would enable his company to track such micropayments. And when he came across Hedera, and I quote him, he saw that it was almost too good to be true. And after doing his research and going through the history of Hedera and the story, then it all made sense to him. And that's why such companies are growing, such applications, we are seeing such applications happening with micropayments. Really interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He said it's too good to be true. And after 3 years of digging into it and building on it and everything else, he's come to the conclusion that it is true, right? Yeah. So yeah, it was fun to talk to Roy. That's a good one.
And if I may ask the question, Glenn, if I remember right, you once said that the business model that you figured out or tried to establish at the moment is not just the streaming and micropayment. You actually are able to sell the goods, in your case, pages or reading experiences, and these experiences can then stay with the one that brought it for a very small amount of money, right? Also, you own over time, you own the book and can keep it. Is it still the case? That I was always fascinated.
Yes. Yes. We have the ability for the reader to make these incremental micro payments as they read. So they're only charged for what they read. They can go to any place in a book, display that text, and only pay for that. And then they can go back to that and not have to pay for it again. So in aggregate, if you pay for if you display all of the text within a publication, in other words, you read the whole book, you essentially own that publication, because you can go back to it anytime, read any portion of it, and you don't have to pay for it again. So the next step is going to be in NFTs, to make publications NFTs, and that opens a whole gateway to experience that we're really excited about. But yeah, no, you can buy, you can make one-time purchases with the Drop digital wallet on Inara if you want to do that. You can just right out of the gate. I mean, we're not limited by, to a large extent, what types of publications we can have up on Inara. We have much fewer. We don't have a lot of the limitations that the existing platforms have. Like, for instance, I like to joke that we could put up a 17-syllable haiku poem, and you could read that and make what essentially would be a single micropayment, but so that you get the picture.
That's awesome. And and one of the things that I hear in this, one of the spaces, or one of the kind of comments I hear a lot in the space is people are tired of hearing the coming soon or just wait. There's a lot of that coming soon going, but Wallawallet guilty as charged. If you go to our website, you'll see coming soon on the first page there. So it's there's a lot of it out there, but I just wanted to highlight that, Glenn, this is not some pie in the sky application that's way off in the future. I mean, you've been in this space for a long time. You're a seasoned veteran in the publishing space.
Thank you.
And this is something this is a real product. Could you give us a little update on the progress and where Inara is at?
Yeah. So we're in closed beta right now. We just ended closed beta testing, and we're just wrapping up assessment of all the data we got back from our testers. And I've been talking to my developers and making some tweaks. So it's good because we got a form of verification that the product is in really good shape, and we're looking forward to flipping the switch to an open beta very, very soon. In fact, I'm in conversations with the guys at Drop about this. We're talking about making a major announcement about the release of the open beta with Drop. And I'll probably have more to say about that next week.
Awesome.
But that it's going to be I will say that it will have the impact of lowering the kind of like the lowering that financial bar of entry to reading on Inara, and the way people get started reading, which will be huge for us in terms of adoption, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the things that I've heard. That's one of the things that I think is really important, is just getting people the ability to onboard for either super cheap or basically free, right? So people can start using. That's part of the, part of this, what we're doing with the DLT sandwich and these jam token promotions is, basically every week we're giving away 10,000 jam tokens because we want people to start getting their hands on this stuff so they can see how incredibly easy it is to use, how lightning fast. I mean, on the Hedera network, to have finality in seconds and to be able to transact, it's incredible. I mean, when you're used to using other technologies and then you jump over to using HBAR or HTS tokens, the lightning speed is just incredible. I mean, it's like, it's on par and sometimes faster than what you would see with, when you go to the grocery store and you swipe the card. I mean, literally, if you're just sitting there and you watch a transaction, I mean, you do an HBAR send, I mean, it's lightning fast, and the tokens run on the native speed. We don't have this smart contract intermediary. There's no layer 2. There's none of this. These tokens are all layer 1 tokens, so they benefit from the same performance.
So Jeremy, I'm working on a tutorial about how to, once you mint your HBAR from Stater, how to send them to different wallets like Decent and Wallawallet. And today, Hashpack automatically updates when you send something. And I sent the HBAR I sent HBAR to create HBAR to the wallet. And it almost seemed like, because the Hashpack was up in front of me, that as soon as I clicked, it updated on the Hashpack wallet. It was the same time. It kind of shocked even me. Like I couldn't believe how fast it updated. Normally we talk about finality. I don't know if it was like as soon as it was written to the network or what, but it was lightning fast. I do have a question for Glenn, because my wife was one of the closed beta testers for Inara. What were some of the things that you learned during your closed beta test that you might have tweaked for open beta?
Yeah. Probably more on the education side, if nothing else. I mean, a lot of this is so new to people. And so there's a little bit of resistance in some corners, a lot of resistance, frankly, to the digital wallet in particular. And, we're so funny because we're, in some respects, so cavalier about sharing our information and financial information, even something as simple as a credit card account. And so I got, some pushback. The comment was that what people wanted to do was to get started with Inara without having to link either a credit card or a bank account via ACH to their Drop digital wallet before they start reading or upload their books, and just get started before then. The good news is this new development with Drop essentially takes that problem away, and that people will be able to get started with Inara and Drop without having to set up either a bank account via ACH or share their credit card information from the beginning. And this is part of this, this launch development that we're working on right now. But but as far as like the interface, the user experience, they're I mean, the usual kind of, gee, it would be nice, and have you thought about adding X? Mm-hmm. We got some really good feedback on that, but I've got to say that I'm really proud of my team that we developed Inara and brought it to a level where, as far as we can tell, there are no stoppers. In other words, you get to a certain point and it just stops, right? We all know that place, right? We've all been there. But fortunately, our testers didn't run into that.
Well, good. Didn't mean to hijack there, Jeremy. Sorry.
No, please. No, and there's been a few of those. This is this I like to run this just like we run the Foundry meetings to whatever degree possible. I mean, I do have a structured approach that way. If nobody shows up and it's just me talking, I have something to talk about for 15 or 20 minutes, but I'm fine to open it up to, this is the sandwich. We got to have olives, we got to have dressing, we got to have cucumbers. I mean, it's sandwich. It takes a lot of ingredients to make a good sandwich. Go ahead, Tony.
Let me hop in there then, because I do have a question for Glenn. It's super interesting, Glenn, because you're overcoming challenges kind of internally that other projects are overcoming as well. Like when you talk about integration with a wallet, are you going to are you developing a token on HTS, which is, or is it just pure taking HBAR? And are you developing your own wallet that you say that's a hurdle? Yeah, having a digital wallet. Or are you already working with, or do you plan to really just make what you're doing compatible with the wallets that are being developed in the space already?
Wow. Well, there's like 4 different questions in that.
Right. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, and if I fall down and I don't answer, you just let me know and you can remind me.
And of course, only what you can share too. Like, please, I'm not trying to pry.
Yeah. No, I get it. We've always seen, ever since NFTs came up on our radar screen, we've seen the it's been something we've had on our roadmap. Now, as far as tokens, readers are able to use, our users are able to pay for these microtransactions in either US dollars, HBAR cryptocurrency, and very soon to come, USDC stablecoin, which is very exciting. And again, this is, what was, I got to give kudos to Sean Trainer and the Drop team, because starting back in July of last year, when we were just in a very, very early stage of development in a lot of ways, and they were too with the Drop digital wallet, we worked with them on a feature that they call recurring payments, because heretofore their product, which was already functional, was developed specifically for single sale transactions. In other words, you're a magazine publisher and you're online and you're publishing your articles online, and reader can go find the article, say, oh, great, I want to read that. Oh, but it's going to cost you 10 cents. And if you have a Drop digital wallet and there's that little icon on the article, you just press that icon. I can't remember exactly how it works, but essentially that single sale transaction happens for 10 cents, 25 cents, or whatever the heck. But what we were able to do with Drop, my development team working with the Drop team, we were able to develop this recurring payments model. So as we parse the file, the book file, down to a level where we can essentially stream the file, and then the micropayments flow from these little tiny chunks, right?
Based on the size of the file, or the number of letters or words or pages?
Yeah, I mean, we all know.
Unit?
Yeah, it's down to the unit level. I mean, literally down to the character level. I mean, I won't go beyond that, because we're starting to get into some, trade secrets, but yeah, we do have that ability. But we couldn't do it without Drop. And so we in working with them through the end of last year and into the early part of this year, we particularly early part of this year, we were able to get that recurring payments functionality built with them in Drop, and then integrated with Inara. And then that just blew the doors off. That just opened everything up for us. And what was your other question?
Oh, it's whether you were developing your own wallet, or if you're planning to make it work with other wallets.
We're not planning on developing our own wallet. There's so many great wallets out there, like Wallawallet and others that I think really the future is the interoperability of any DApp on any network, any wallet, any space. That's where we want to go. Yeah.
Right. And Wallawallet, we're working hard on the interoperability stuff as well. I know Brandon mentioned the stater staking, and it does break my heart just a little bit that we're not compatible with, that Wallawallet isn't compatible with staking on the stater platform just yet. But it has to do with the technology, right? So it has nothing to do with organizational differences or anything like that. We're actually in talks with Stater and actively looking to integrate, but they're not able to support a mobile wallet or mobile application just yet. So with Wallawallet, we immediately went after the mobile application space and left the web browsers and web applications behind, which in a way we leapfrogged ourselves out of usefulness for a time period with some of the use cases that are not able to support mobile applications yet, but we'll get there in good time.
Well, Jeremy, don't sell yourself short or Wallawallet short, because Wallawallet can support HTS tokens. The HBARX can be minted using Hashpack. And then if somebody prefers to keep it on their Wallawallet, all they have to do is associate the token on Wallawallet, and then they can send them over. So
Right.
it's just the initiation of that smart contract, the initiation of the creation of HBARX that can't be done on Wallawallet. But if you prefer storing them on
Not yet.
Wallawallet, all you have to, yeah, hopefully that we'll get there. But if you want to create them using Hashpack and then send them over to Wallawallet, that's just fine. And I'm working on a guide. Hopefully we'll get that out here before too long on how to do that.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. So before we're getting close to the top of the hour, but I wanted to open it up for just a little bit to Roland, because in the past, I don't know, month or so, there's been some awesome news coming out of Switzerland. Can you share a little bit about what you've been working on these past few weeks and months? Because it's pretty exciting stuff.
Thanks. I really hope it will be. So it's really that we are in the middle of the ramping phase. But you in the beginning, you said you were referring to gossip about gossip, and indeed in season 2 there was this interview with Kamal Youssefi and Stefan Dice about this new Hashgraph association that we created. And Brandon, really, I'm working on it. It would be a pleasure to bring you on in an interview with these two gentlemen to go deeper. They are the co-founders. I'm just one of the helping hands around at the end of the day, but we are indeed now working on the Hashgraph innovation program. So what we try, it's really the idea is to enable projects building on Hashgraph, building on Hedera. Actually, here I need to be can be that precise. Really, there is a parent company, you could say, which is the Swiss Digital Assets Institute, and the Swiss the SDAI was received a grant actually from the council. Of course, it's in close partnership together with the foundation, but it is really the idea to build out of Switzerland an innovation program for projects that are building on the platform we so dearly love and know. So I hope I will be able to bring some news of one or the other project soon. We are really now we do our first calls at this week, next week, starting to ramp up the whole program, and it's much more than just a grant. It's really the whole creating ecosystems for startups, enterprises, and even governments.
That's great to hear, Ron. I actually reached out to Youssefi to try to set up an interview. I hadn't heard back yet. So if you want to help me out there and get in touch with him, we can do it as soon as possible.
Perfect. No, I'm happy to, and I'm sure he will be. So for the ones out there that don't know these names, Kamal was the first one within Swisscom blockchain back then. He was one of the first that signed actually a Hedera Council contract for an enterprise at all, and it's great that he's back and that we can execute here from Switzerland, keeping in that spirit that over all these years we already tried to really bring.
And everybody was upset when Swisscom blockchain, was just dissolved, but and everybody thought they were gone for good, or he was gone for good. And here he's back, and staking his career on Hedera, which is great.
So Roland, could you say a little bit more about what is it that the Hashgraph Association is looking for in a startup? So if I'm a startup, an entrepreneur, what level are you looking for? What are you looking for in the applicants that are coming into the Hashgraph Association? What kind of qualities are they looking for?
So number one, first of all, there is only one real rule, and that is it has to be on Hedera Hashgraph. This is really the core. This money, the whole infrastructure at the moment is built for the Hedera ecosystem. So number one is, what should not happen is that we get a project in there and they start with us and then switch in the last minute to another protocol or something. So it really is a thing for and with Hedera Hashgraph. So this is number one. And then number two, it really can be a lot of things. So I would say we are definitely not just a grant. So it's not just about putting money on tables. It's about enabling entrepreneurs to get actually MVPs from the ground. So the whole point would be, so it's not even just about this money. It's about creating a runway to have things running on the network and being out in the market. This can be, don't have to, of course, this can be new ones, so really startups that need help bringing their first MVP alive. So this launch the business state. Of course, if there is not too much work yet done, it could be that we would say we prefer a startup that is a little bit further than the one that just has a good idea. But at the end of the day, it should not, it's really for Hedera. And at the end of the day, we try to put MVPs out there, right? So it's absolutely okay. So there will be, there are 3 stages actually. There is an ideation in this program, an ideation state, a strategized state, and a building state. And more or less, it would be cool to get something from the ground in, let's say, 9 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months. So this is this bigger picture. Then we try to bring in services from legal over. Although we have this great this DLT Act that is now in Switzerland, so we can create trading facilities, regulated trading facilities out of Switzerland, having legal counseling. Also, how do you do all the legal stuff? At the end, we have great legal companies here, for example, that back then helped Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation to set up the first infrastructure. There is Digital Switzerland. And then we have access to the bigger ones. And so you see that when we say the grants are not just the startups, and it can be also, of course, a startup that is already having 10, 20, 30 people on the payroll, or starting to grow the business, still low on the hockey stick, but growing the business. So then come the enterprises in there as well, the governments. So on the enterprise side, there can be entrepreneurial projects, but I think there is also the potential for ecosystems, so that you have several MVPs that have to come together to bring it to life. And we are backed by the canton of Schwyz, where we created such an innovation program as well. And so also ecosystem cases where governmental elements are in there are interesting. And so maybe for the last sentence here is, it should be a global program. So it's not just Switzerland or not just Europe. It should be really a decentralized innovation program at the end, where we can bring in the best.
So from around the world, it's not just anybody can apply, any startup can apply. It's not just focused on Europe or Switzerland. Yeah. I got you.
Yes, that's an important information. That's why officially the company or the association is indeed called the Swiss Hashgraph Association. Swiss Hashgraph Association is the incorporated name, but we will use the brand the Hashgraph Association, and this is together with Hedera and with the marketing team. And there is we are really part of the whole ecosystem. So there are regular calls also with the HBAR Foundation. We talk about, I guess, with the other accelerators, also with accelerators as well. Of course, we will try at the moment to bring up partner ecosystems. Think about Hashport, possibility also with Drop and the mirror nodes, and really it should be we can only do so much, of course. So don't expect from us that we have 100 projects in no time, but indeed it should be a longer story over a couple of years. And after we need to establish, of course, the infrastructure first as well, and we need to be a little bit careful. But you can apply today, and maybe the moment to really build is in autumn, or is in next winter or something like that. And therefore it's really there is a lot of possibilities to find together. Officially, there is no equity in there, so we are not an accelerator that would take equity for their work. Of course, on the other side, if you need board members or on the business side people, there is absolutely possibility that we find some structure together that we could go even in more VC style. But at the end, enabling project usage, accounts, transactions on Hedera. That's
big thumbs up. Yeah, we are so grateful to see, in the Hedera space, the ecosystem, the builders, the ecosystem participants, the investors, everybody really happy to see this infusion of impetus and capital into the people that need and want to build on Hedera Hashgraph. So real quickly, before I go ahead and announce our jam winner for the week, Roland, can you tell us what levels of grants is the association looking at? Is it a wide range of levels? It is a couple set levels of grants. What level of grants is the association looking at?
So there is indeed, we have up to, but it's $250,000 for startups. $750,000 is allocated for enterprise cases, and up to $1.5 million for governments. And if you think now, hey, that's not fair, the big one gets the big money and the small one, it's more the expected size of projects and needs and how you are in there. And that's why actually you could say there are these three ticket sizes. And we will figure out over time if there needs to be other ways. I think it's not just about the money. That's the important message that I can bring here. It's about making these projects successful. And when I was first talking about launch the business, there is also a step grow the business and a step scale the business. And therefore, it can be my personal favorite will be creating ecosystems. So really having a bigger value proposition that is maybe filled in by a government together with enterprises, together with council members, and then you have startups in there that bring the whole thing together and to life.
Incredible. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Roland. And I hope we get to hear more, I hope we get continual updates. I'm hoping everybody continues to come back because this is a lot more interesting and a lot more fun when I've got people with me. Tim and Laurent, any final words before I announce any final thoughts before I announce our jam winner for the week?
Laurent, do you want to go first?
Laurent,
If
maybe.
you can hear. Okay. So what I can say is I'm also excited about the future. But Tim, Inara, Glenn, I'm looking forward to help you increase your user base locally here. There are a lot of publishers and authors who would be really, really interested with the kind of product that you guys have. And even is it possible to have one of the guys from Tune.fm over here, because we have a lot of artists, singers, Kenyan artists and African-wide singers who really don't get their fair share of their pay, because you have to appreciate talent when you see one. So I think this is going to revolutionize the industry, the music industry, even this part of the world.
Absolutely, yeah. So Andrew Antar, the founder of Tune.fm, was supposed to be here today. I did get a call from him, and he had an appointment that he could not miss that went over. He called me to see if it was okay to jump in late, but he was driving, and I said, hey, don't get in a car accident over the DLT sandwich. Eating a sandwich and driving can be a little dangerous. And no, I said, so just, hey, so hold off for the week. But yeah, definitely. If not next week, very soon, we will have Andrew Antar on from Tune.fm to give us some updates and talk about all that stuff. So we are past the top of the hour now. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and announce our winner for this week's DLT episode number 3. Our 10,000 Jam token winner is HBAR Army. from Twitter. His Twitter handle is at Dave123William1. So HBAR Army is our 10,000 jam token winner for today. Much appreciation. Big shout out to all the Twitter folks. At some point, once we've got this Twitter picker, it's a really easy way to run these giveaways. In the future, though, when we get a little bit more sophisticated, we'll find out ways to give out tokens to people that are in Discord or people that are out there in YouTube land watching the live stream. So we'll get a little bit more sophisticated and give, because I want I want people that use different platforms. Not everybody's on Twitter, so I want people using different platforms to be able to get a chance at these. But in the meantime, every week we're doing these every Monday. So if you want to get out there and get an opportunity to get 10,000 jam tokens, we're doing this until we're out of jam. So we've got quite a bit, and many thanks to Andrew and the Tune.fm team for providing us with these jam tokens to give away as promotions. I think it's a great way to get the jam tokens out there, get HTS tokens out there so people can start using them, see how simple it is, see how fast it is. And we're just really proud to be partnered up with Tune. They're doing incredible stuff, and we look forward to having Andrew on the show. But are there any final comments from the panel before we go ahead and close up? So make sure you tune into the Hedera forum. HBAR Bull is just blowing it out of the water every week. So that's how I get my news. I'm just happy to have these intelligent people surrounding me. Thank you for joining us, Tony. I hope you come back next week as well. Look forward to talking about use cases and getting into a little bit more stuff that you're doing as well. Laurent, same deal. We're all busy folks working on some awesome stuff, and I look forward to sharing it with the rest of the community. So until next week. Oh, and last but not least, is a little bit long format, but if you like what you're listening to and you like what you're seeing and hearing on the DLT Sandwich live stream, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give it a like, and we will see you next Monday. All right, everybody, have a great week. Talk to you soon. Hasta luego.
Bye.